What's up, y'all? What's good? Welcome to the What Up Doe Show. It's your boy Dame D, and today I am joined with a few special guests. Today we're going to be talking about the Bud Crawford, Terrence Crawford fight versus Canelo Alvarez. I have a few guests. You guys can go ahead and introduce yourself to the show.
This Big Hen from 313. What up, though?
This Q Nitty from the 313. What up, though?
Okay. First and foremost, I want to thank both of you guys for coming on to the show today. We got a great fight that's getting ready to coming up on the 13th of this month. Let me make sure before we get started, I'm about to go over and check my page to make sure my audio and video that we can be heard. So give me 1 second, you guys. But how's everybody day been going?
No
Good.
complaint. No complaints.
My Wolverine won yesterday. I'm feeling good. Great day to be a Wolverine.
Right, for sure. So yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to make sure my audio and video can be heard because we have been having a few technical difficulties. So I'm just trying to make sure we can be heard before we proceed with the show. But yeah, Q man, here we go. So hold on. But yeah, Q man. Okay, there we go. So we can definitely be heard. We go. So hold on. But yeah, Q man. Okay, there we go. Okay, so yeah, man, let's get off into today's conversation. We're going to be talking about your boy Bud Crawford versus Terrence Crawford. So I need for you guys to, and I'll start off with you, Big Ken. Give me your thoughts, give me your opinion. How do you think Bud is going to be able to handle, coming up two weight divisions to be able to fight, the heavily favored Canelo? He's been reigning for, for over a decade, So give me your thoughts. Tell me what type of fight you think is going to be, who you think is going to be the aggressive, because this is going to make for an interesting fight. You have two great counter fighters, and you also have two great, offensive fighters getting ready to match up. One is a little bit heavier, but one is used to coming up and down in weight. But Big Ken, give us your thoughts on, this upcoming month fight.
It's gonna be one for the ages. Everybody better tune in for this one. I got Bud Crawford all day long. I'm just gonna say that Canelo is Canelo and Bud is Bud. Styles make fights, and I believe that Bud got what it takes to pull it off. The switch hitting, the accurate punching, and just the dog hitting. So, I just feel like, uh, Canelo, he pretty much he got to bring, we got to bring, but it might not be enough.
Right. Now we heard Canelo had brought in your boy Boots Ennis, and Boots was giving him work. But I just recently found out that Crawford ended his camp with Mayweather. Mayweather stepped into the camp, and was working with him. And have you what did you think about that? Do you think Mayweather, will be able to give him the knowledge? And the blessings that that he had when he fought Canelo. So tell me about that. What do you think? Do you think that was a big ups for Crawford bringing Mayweather into camp with him?
I most definitely think that was a big up for Crawford bringing Mayweather into count with him for the simple fact that he beat him most convincingly out of all his losses. He showed him, he showed where it's the blueprint to beat Canelo if you really pay attention. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really put a beat down on him. He just showed the blueprint
I'm bad, you
how to
guys.
get in and out on Canelo. And I think that Crawford gonna learn from that. He didn't need it as much, but when you fight somebody like Canelo, you ain't gonna leave nothing unturned.
Right. You
So
know,
that's what he doing.
yeah, and I think you hit it right on the nose. I think Mayweather was brought in for that specific, reason, to be able to give Crawford that blueprint, the knowledge that Mayweather had from fighting him, and he's able to pass that knowledge on to Crawford. I'm going to ask you pretty much that same question, Q Dog. Tell me who you got in this fight. Tell me, who do you think will be the aggressor, and who you picking overall to win this fight? And what do you think about the matchup?
I'm gonna go with Terrence Crawford. I think Terrence Crawford gonna pull it out. I think Crawford gonna standing there with him and go toe to toe with him some rounds. And some rounds, I think he gonna stick and move him. Try to confuse Canelo a little bit. And yeah, that's all I think. I think that Crawford gonna pull it out, man. So it's gonna be a good one.
Okay, so give me your prediction. If he's going to pull out in a 12-round decision, or do you think it's going to be a stoppage? Excuse me.
Woo, that's a good question. That's a good question there, Dan. Shit, I don't know, be nice. Man, I want to knock Canelo out. Yeah,
What you said, knockout? Yeah, man. And if and I'll give my opinion, my thoughts on that. I think it's going to be. I think Canelo will come out being the aggressor. The first rounds through, I'll probably say through five. And I think Bud counter fight and pick him apart, and be able to wear him down. And then in the later rounds, Bud will be the aggressor, and I'm picking eighth, ninth round stoppage of Bud. I think Bud will play off of, Canelo's, offense, and pick him apart, being a counter fighter, and tire him out. Then, it's going to be a war of nutrition. I think who's ever in the best shape, that night probably will be victorious. You know what I mean? Because they're both great fighters. They're both coming in with great, a great coaching staff. And I'm gonna ask you that next question too, Big Ken. Who do you think has the ups on the coaching staff? Because we know Bud is coming in with, a great coaching staff, and we know Canelo always has, is always ready for each fight, and a great coaching staff. So who do you give that? Who do you give that ups up to, Big Ken, far as the coaching staff?
I'm gonna have to go with Bo Mack and the rest of the coaching staff for Terrence Crawford, because one thing that people don't pay attention to with Terrence Crawford, who's in the ring with him, is two Mexicans that's always in his ear feeding him stuff. So Terrence Crawford is well coerced and his coaching staff. What I mean by that is he listens well. You see Bo Mack in there, but you see him listening to other coaches that he got in there. And I feel like I know Canelo, he got a historian coach over there, and Eddie Reynoso. So, but how many people over there don't pop for steroids? So I don't want to get off into that, but I'm just gonna say I know, and over there with Bo Magnum, it strictly love for the fighters. Ain't nobody over there popping dirty or nothing. So as far as coaching, I'm gonna have to go with Bo Mac.
And like
Staff. I mean, you got to look at Terrence Crawford and really go study what you see in his corners. A lot of people will say Bo Mac, but he'll tell you it's a team of us. He
right.
got nutritionists. He got everything that Floyd had, and probably even more at this point. So, Bud good.
Yeah. So, and I'm gonna ask you that same question
I'm
too.
gonna go with him.
I'm gonna ask you that same question, Q. What coaching staff do you think has the upper hand? Canelo coaching staff, or Bud Terrence Crawford coaching staff with Beaumont and Company?
I'm gonna go with Terrence Crawford corner and his trainer, because I watched Bo Mac earlier today. And then he was saying, he was like, we're gonna get Canelo that work. And he was saying, man, we've been wanting to fight at 168. We've been wanting to do that. So he's like, hey,
Right.
we've been fighting big fighters.
Okay. Well, and since you brought that up, Q, I'm gonna ask you that question. Do you think, meaning that Crawford is coming up two weight classes, do you think that he'll be able to carry his power with him up to two weight divisions? Do you think he'll be affected, by coming up two weight divisions with his strength?
I think he's gonna be all right. Yeah, he's walking around heavy, so yeah, he should. Yeah, shoot. He have you. I know. I've seen him. He's been working out. He look good, man. He was
Right.
good at 168. He was real good.
And if you ask me that question, I'm gonna say yes. He'll be able to. He'll probably be even stronger because, like you said, Q, originally, most fighters walk around maybe a weight class higher, or maybe even two. Before fights when they're not, preparing for a fight. So most fighters do walk around a little heavy, maybe not two weight classes. But I'm gonna ask you that same question here. And do you think Bud will be able to take his power with him, or do you think him jumping up two classes will affect his power, fighting a bigger and heavier Canelo?
I mean, years ago, Bud said that he didn't think that he would ever fight a Canelo because his weight class is for a reason. But since then, he has moved up, and every time he move up, you know what I'm saying, he gets stronger. I believe he gets stronger. I believe at 168, that's probably close to his walk around weight. So I don't see him having no problems at that weight class right there. I believe that uh, he gonna give Canelo all the problems that he can handle and more at
Okay.
168.
Now I
So
want to ask you
ain't
that
gonna be no
question.
issue.
Bud's last fight, what was that? The last guy that he fought. What?
154.
Okay, see, and I'm not gonna say he struggled with that guy, but he went the whole 12, and I'm not gonna say his power wasn't there, but he did not look like how he looked when he fought Spence, far as with the power. So do you think that will affect, and that's actually a class up under, you know, uh
Mazimov was more of a. I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm just gonna say, styles make fights.
right.
Mazimov is more of a technical fighter, and Bud knew that, so he had prepared for that technical style in here. But Mazimov tried to time him, so it was more of a timing thing at 154 for Bud. I think at 168, him fight Canelo, I don't think it's gonna be no issues because last time he fought, I'm gonna give you a prime example. Last time he fought a bull like Canelo would have had to been Earl Spence, correct?
Right, but that was at
So
two. That was at
right,
140,
there's a way.
147, I believe.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you the style of fighters. Earl Spence. At one point, they had mentioned Earl Spence fighting Canelo if it hadn't have been Terrence Crawford. They had already lined that up. It wasn't no weight issues then when they was talking about lining up Earl for it because Earl hit hard and he's a come forward fighter. So they wouldn't have made no. They're making an issue because it's Bud. You know what I'm saying? But what I think is he gonna set up all the naysayers. At 168, he gonna come in there as strong as he was at all the rest of the weight divisions, probably with a little bit more pop. You know what I'm
See,
saying? You move up in weight, you're supposed to be stronger.
right, and
Canelo
I
already been
agree.
there,
You
so
you definitely supposed to be a little bit more stronger when you move up in weight. But I want to get back to the last fight of the fight when Crawford fought the guy at 54.
Massimo.
I'm not gonna say he looks stronger, because this guy, that was a good fight. He gave Crawford everything he can handle. He hit Crawford with some good shots, and Crawford hit him with some good shots, but I did not see a lot of power, coming off that right hand of Crawford's, during that fight. I saw a lot of, just technical stuff. Maybe it was just me, but I just I don't think he got
I
it.
understand.
Go ahead.
I I understand what you're saying, and I want to say 80% of the boxing world felt the same way you felt, but
Yeah.
a win is a win because if you gonna play chess and you gonna say if you gonna go by whose last fight,
No,
Canelo last
no,
fight,
you're right. A
Canelo
win
didn't
is a
go
win. It
outside.
doesn't matter how much, how you win,
Canelo didn't even
long as you
win
get
his
to
last
win. I
fight.
was
He
just saying
decisioned that
his
fight.
power in that last fight, it did not look like he brought the power with him that he had when he fought Spence. You know what I mean? That's all I was trying to say. So, and he's going to be going up another weight division. You know what I mean? So, that's saying a lot. So Q, I want you to get in on this question. Crawford's last fight, he did not look as strong as he did when he fought Crawford. And let me get the guy's name. What was the guy name that he fought Big Hen in his last fight? Because I don't.
Macklemore.
Yeah, and Makamov
Ismail
was able to
Macklemore.
get in there and mix it up and I'm at times go to toe with Crawford. He was not scared to mix it up. And it was a good fight. So
Yeah.
so I'm asking you that same question, Q. Do you think did Crawford had any struggles with McNamara, in that fight, far as with power, and meaning that he'll have to fight Canelo, who's stronger, than McNamara, and I may be pronouncing his name a little bit, wrong, but Crawford didn't. To me, he did not show a lot of power in that fight. I don't know if he, it was something that he didn't want to, trade a lot of punches or go in there and, test the waters. But, in that fight, it looked like he was willing to go 12 rounds, I should say.
Yeah, I watched that fight as well, and what I got out of it was that he wasn't comfortable to me at 154.
Yeah.
He's more comfortable with me at now at the 168. But yeah, he didn't have no power in that fight, really. The guy gave him some problems a little bit. But other than that, no, I don't think he did well at 154. That's just my opinion. I think he's gonna do well at 168. He had no power.
See, and that's saying a lot, Q. And you took the words that I was looking for. It really looked like he struggled, at times, with that opponent, with the heavier opponent, and I guess the question that I'm trying to say, Big Ken, if he struggled, and I'm not going to say he struggled, but he did not look like the Crawford when Crawford fought Spence, and this was at a smaller weight, so if him coming up one weight division, he should have been a little bit more stronger. And to me, it did not look like he was stronger in that fight. Maybe he's going to train a little bit more different from this fight, and it'll be able to bring it'll be able to show in this Canelo fight. But to me, Big Ken, it did not look like, and Q hit it on the nose. He looked uncomfortable, and it did not look like to me like he brought, any of the power that he had at 47. Hello?
I mean, I'm listening. I just feel like when he fought Majimov, he moved up and he was testing the waters. He was, Majimov wasn't no joke at all. It still ain't no joke. Anybody that fight Majimov after Terrence Crawford gonna feel it. He just had a serious fight where I forget who he lost to, but he fought that guy with the pneumonia in there and still went the distance.
Right.
You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? So Majimov is a tough cookie to crack. Actually, Majimov was a sparring partner for Canelo.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And not trying not to take nothing away from him, because, I know Magnumov probably fought, that fought probably was one of his best fights, and he went to the whole 12 rounds, and he felt like that maybe he should have won that fight, but it was a good fight, and it was a test to kind of compare him. Did Magnumov fight Canelo?
Yeah, he was a sparring partner for Canelo.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. So he's familiar. That was another reason that, probably Terrence picked him too, but I'm not sure. But what I think about Majimov and the way that Terrence Crawford fought that fight, it was one of those, let me test the waters at 54 and see if the power is there. And he tested the waters, and like you said, Majimov ain't give him no problems. It was more of a test. Now, I think what the test is with Canelo is he just testing himself, period. It ain't got nothing to do. People screaming about weight class, this, that, and third. This is just the test of the dogs. You know what I'm saying? You got a junkyard dog and you got a country dog. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what we finna get here.
Okay, now what Crawford do you think we'll see in this fight? Do you think we'll see the counter fighting of Crawford, or do you think we'll see an aggressive, fight, an aggressive Crawford, that'll come out there looking to stop Canelo?
I feel like he's always been the smart counterpuncher that Terrence Crawford, fourth, fifth round, he don't figured you out, and now you starting to get hit with shots that you don't see. And that's
Right.
what happened. Like I was telling you and Q, I don't see this fight going no different than the Earl Spence fight, because if he come at him like I think Canelo gonna come, and I said that Canelo is not a good counterpuncher like Terrence Crawford, but I don't think he is as good. And I think it's gonna be the shots that you don't see that's gonna catch him. And I think this gonna be the best that you ever see Terrence Crawford. Not because I want people to get off of the weight. We talking about somebody that's coming in here at 168. If I'm 168 and you 168 as a man, all that shit go out the door.
Right.
Imano.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I agree with you. I think Canelo is going to come out extra aggressive, and I think Bud will be able to focus on what he does best, is counter fight and countering off of what Canelo does. And I think he'll be able to do that. From the first rounds all the way up until round 5, 6, and then I think Bud, by that time will have figured out the style and what Canelo, and just the style and the power of Canelo. And I think he'll turn it around and be the aggressive, and he'll start being more of the boxer from round 6, through the championship rounds, I think, and like I said, I think it'll be a stoppage.
The world pretty much out of
Yeah, I said it'll be a stoppage, either 8. I'm calling it 8 rounds. I think Bud will stop him in 8 rounds, and that'll be off of the Canelo trying to be aggressive. We have a few people here. I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. The comments section is open. Comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about this upcoming fight. Canelo Alvarez versus your boy Bud Crawford. Let me know what you guys think. But no, man. I think it's going to be a great fight. Evenly matched fight. And I think, like I said, I'm picking Crawford to stop Canelo in rounds 8. You know what I mean? But at the same time, man, Canelo is, and we talked about that his last fight. He did not look good in his last fight also either. And it was a lot of controversy about that fight. He was not as busy. He did not land a lot of, power shots. So what do you think he'll be able to do this time, Quincy, to be able to change that against the more active, the more busy, the more the counterfighter of Bud Crawford?
You talking about what? You asked me what Canelo gonna do?
Yeah, I say what he's going to be able to do in this fight that he did not do in his last fight, because his last fight, he did not look good neither in that fight. But most fighters fight fight the competition brings the best out of them, I should say.
Right.
Well,
I agree.
Well, I hope he in shape. That's all I gotta say. He better be in shape, because if he's not in shape, he about to get his ass whooped.
Yeah, and it's
come about the corner one round.
Right.
Round 8. You say 8, he might not come out on the 8th round. He might be like, that's done.
Yeah, man. It's definitely going to be a war of nutrition. Bud just ended his camp. Bud just ended his camp, a day or two ago. And word was that he brought Mayweather in to be able to give him that edge and, the knowledge that Mayweather had, because Canelo only lost one fight, and that was to Mayweather. So what do you guys think?
He lost more than one fight. He lost.
No, Canelo only has one loss on his record, and that was to.
He lost what's his name? Starting with the Mexican. He lost at 175.
Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong. Let me go look it up. I could have sworn his only loss was to Mayweather, but I'm getting ready to look that up. So look, people in the comment section, I'm getting ready to look it up right now, though.
He lost 2 or 3 fights.
He lost 2 on record for sure, but actually he lost about 3 or 4. But on record, you got Floyd and you got Beaver.
Okay.
And the other 2. In the last fight he lost. Shit, yeah.
He lost the last fight too, but they saved you for Terrence.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now so I can be right. Canelo's record. I want to. But I thought his only loss was to Floyd. But I could be wrong.
Go watch that fight, because he got the brakes beat off of him. He got basically Terrence is a better counterpuncher than Vivo, so you about to see something.
Yeah, he got only 2 losses. Yeah, he lost. Yeah, when he went up and when he lost.
I'm sitting here trying to find it. Actually, they're not showing it.
Well,
I'm gonna believe what you said, but you said he lost to who, Big Hen? What was his second loss to?
Dimitri Bivol.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so
he got the title right now. He got what's that, 175? Canelo probably gonna get a rematch with him after he lose to Bud.
Okay.
I think he got a nice contract with Sheik right now, so he got a couple more fights after Bud.
Yeah, man, and I'm glad you mentioned the Sheiks. I'm glad they put this fight together, and I'm glad they were able to keep it here in Vegas. Who does Vegas have winning this fight so far before the fight starts? Are they
I
picking
know they
Canelo?
got Canelo is the favorite, but I
Right.
know it's real close by now.
Okay. And all that'll change.
Got to be real close.
Yeah, and all that'll change up days up until the fight. But man, I just want to see a great action-packed fight, which I think it'll be a lot of action. And I want to see somebody get put on their ass, which I think we'll see, because like I said, both fighters are well skilled. Both fighters can be aggressive, very aggressive, especially with Canelo. Because I think Canelo will come out and try to cut the ropes off on Crawford early, cut the ring off, I should say, on him early, and try to put him, in a difficult situation. Go ahead, Big N.
He's not gonna have to do that, bro, for the simple fact Bud gonna be there for the smoke. He's not gonna have that same problem that he had with the last guy he fought. He was running around the ring with William Skull. Bud is gonna be Bud. He's gonna sit in the
And that's
middle
who it was. It was
and
William
let Canelo
Skull.
throw his punches. He's gonna counter him and he's gonna figure him out and to the point where whatever round it take him to figure Canelo out. I mean, I ain't saying it's gonna be easy, but whatever round Bud say, oh, this what he bringing. That's also all he bringing this whole fight, and that's how he do you. Oh, this all he got, like Earl. Like you say, he took away his main attribute, which was the straight jab. Once that was gone, Earl was done the rest of the night.
Okay, now I want to ask you this question, Big Ken. How do you think if Canelo come and put hands on Bud early and touch that chin, how do you think Bud will be able to react? And I'm not going to say, okay, put it this way. What if he come and knock him down, a flash knockdown early? Do you think Bud will be able to respond?
I want to see that because I ain't never seen Bud on the canvas. So it'll be something that, hey, if he get down, I'm Bud gonna get back up. I
Okay.
think he's a mean fighter. So if he get dropped, you're gonna see an even mean version of him if he don't get knocked out.
Okay.
Now
Yeah,
I can't
because
speak for Canelo.
Canelo is going to come out there and try
Canelo
to
ain't
put
knocked
the
nobody out in over 7 fights, bro.
yeah, he gonna come out there this fight and put that full court press on him. You know that early. So someone's going to somebody getting put on their ass in this fight, most definitely.
Yeah.
So it's going to be and then we before we actually started the show, Canelo brought your boy Boots Ennis in there, and you was telling me that the word was going on was Boots was giving that boy fits out there.
That's the word that he stopped him, and like they said, some parts of the fight with Canelo didn't want to continue to fight no more. So that's what's going around.
Mm,
It could be one of those things where they trying to set up Bud, like nigga, he this
right.
and he that. You ain't getting it.
Right.
So I don't think Bud paying that shit no attention. Bud gonna come in there like Bud always do. Let the
Yeah,
dope boys
if
shut
Bud
him
is a
down.
smart fighter, he would not be listening to anything that's coming out of the Canelo camp. You know what I mean? Or he wouldn't allow himself to, get caught up, any of the hoopla that's coming out of that camp. But hey, that's saying a lot, man. Because a lot of people want to see that boost in his Crawford fight too, maybe
Bud
next.
fight, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, it's
That's
definitely going to
deep.
be
We
a good
talking
fight,
about
man.
that
Great.
because
Go ahead.
That's deep. We talking about that because Ennis say he want that smoke, but I
He
don't really
say he
think he
do.
want it. I think that the people gonna push for it. If he at 154 and Bud moved up to 168 to fight Canelo, I think they'll probably fight at a catch weight somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
If that ever happens,
Okay,
you know
now
what I'm
my
saying?
question: if Crawford does win this fight, does he stay at 68, or does he go back down?
That's why I just said I could see him taking. Boots ain't really fought nobody. I think Terrence want to see him fight a couple major guys before he get in there with the GOAT. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think they trying to maybe set him and Jamel Charlo up.
See, because I was just getting ready to say that. I think he'll end up fighting one of the Charlo brothers because if you remember, during that Earl Spence fight, Bud told one of them, I forget which one it was, he was like, "You next."
Yeah, Jamel.
It was Jamel, yeah.
154. He called him out
Yeah.
after he dropped Earl a couple times. So I mean, you know, and we see what happened with Crawford and Jamel with Charlo. He ran the whole fight.
Man, and I'm still upset with him that fight. He looked like he completely just, came for the check and that was it. Ran the whole fight,
That was
took
it.
knees and just pretty much just gave up.
Right.
Yeah. So, but
Bud
this,
ain't coming in there for that.
hell no, this is going to be a totally different fight. Bud is going to come in there. I'm not going to say he's going to go blow for blow, especially in the earlier rounds. He'll probably wait until the later rounds to be able to stand there. It's smart for him not to, be in there early trading blows with Canelo. So maybe the later rounds, once he's puts in his work and does a little bit of body work. But go ahead, Big Hen.
I just figure out like what you just said, and Terrence said this when he fought Earl Spence. He said that once Earl hit him with a shot, he was like, "That's all you got."
Right.
He debowed him from the rest of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the little push that Terrence did, and he made Canelo walk backwards. I think that Bud is a much stronger, naturally stronger person. I think everybody's gonna get shot.
Yeah, and then a lot of people don't understand is Bud is a strong guy. He's an ex wrestler,
Right.
And if you ever tried to wrestle with a motherfucker who can wrestle, it really let you know that you can't wrestle. That you're not strong enough. Because those motherfuckers are strong.
You see what Bud did to him? He walked him down, and Canelo was just looking at him like, "What is he doing?"
Yeah. So yeah, man, I think it's going to be a fight of nutrition. I think who's ever going to come in there, the better shape, definitely, come out victorious. But me at the end of the day, I'm picking Bud in 8. I think Canelo will come out there aggressive, and that probably will set the tone for Bud to be able to counter, off of what Canelo's doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, but yeah, man. At the end of the day, I just want to see a great fight, good action-packed fight. And like I said, I'm going with Bud. But I don't have anything else to add on to that fight. I want to go ahead and switch it up. Let's talk about them Michigan boys. They played New Mexico yesterday. So, Q, I'm gonna let you lead that off. I know you a big. We all diehard Michigan fans, but I know you. You follow Michigan. Like no other. Give us your thoughts on on this freshman quarterback, first time, I believe. Give us your thoughts on how he led the team out there.
Oh man, Underwood, he was damn good yesterday. Damn good. Due for 251 yards and a touchdown.
Okay.
And we got that great running backs. We got great running back Marshall and Haynes. And man, we are a balanced team. How do you want it? Hen was there to witness it.
Yeah,
He was right there.
Yeah, they looking
good. Hey, sky's the limit right now. Defense, it just pro defense.
Okay, well let's stay on your boy Bryce Underwood. Give everybody your thoughts on how he held his composure yesterday. He went out there and threw for over 200 yards, no picks, and a touchdown. You know what I mean? So give everybody a little bit.
That's a freshman, D.
He's a true.
Not an ordinary freshman.
Yeah, he's a true freshman.
I don't know. He might be a little bit more than true.
So give us your thoughts on him, Big Ken. How do you think he fared up yesterday? First game as a true freshman, for Michigan. And I'm going to say first time in Michigan and Wolverine history, if I'm not mistaken, right, Q-Dog?
I wouldn't say that.
That a true freshman is starting.
Yeah,
no, JJ started as a true freshman.
JJ Redick?
I'm straight out.
I mean, I'm tripping. I said JJ Redick. That's the guy for. But was he a true? No, I think did Chad Henne start?
What's his name? Not the first true freshman to start for Michigan.
Okay, well, he's a true freshman starting for Michigan.
You gotta remember, I think Shoestrings was out there too. Remember
Nah,
him?
he was a red shirt freshman, I believe. We
I
talked
don't
about
know,
that.
Q. I think he might be the first true
No,
freshman.
JJ
The
McCarthy, the
start.
last guy.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to
That
look that
true
up. But
freshman.
him coming in, as a true freshman, said a lot, because he was he was a well recruited freshman coming into college this year. We talked about this earlier before we started the show. He was originally at LSU, but Michigan was able to get him to come over. They were able to buy him into Michigan, I should say. At the end of the day. But yeah, tell me, what do you think he'll bring to the table this year that we didn't have last year, Q Dog?
Say again. I was looking up something.
What do you think he'll be able to bring to the table and do differently that we did not have last year? What do you think he'll be able to be the difference maker in this upcoming year?
Oh, we got a guy that can pass the ball. We got a guy that can get the ball to the receivers and make something happen.
Okay.
We got a guy that can throw. We didn't have that last year. We had no passing game last year. This year we have a passing game. So
Right.
yeah, that's what he brings. We got a true quarterback, gentlemen.
Yeah, and like I said, he looked like a pretty good quarterback. He stayed steady there in the pocket. He did not panic. And I'm not going to say he did not look like a true freshman out there, because at times, he did look like a true freshman. I'm not going to say he set records or did anything like that, but from my evaluation yesterday, he looked like a pretty decent like we got a decent quarterback. We got a stud out there. He definitely has an arm. He was able to get thread the needle on a few passes. And I want to talk about him. A lot of people thought that he was going to be more of a running type passing quarterback too, like your boy, the quarterback from what's the name from the Baltimore Ravens. But to me, he's more of a passer. He's going to stand there in that pocket, and look to pass the ball more than to try to take off and run with the ball. So give me your thoughts on that.
Developing.
Right.
I think he's still developing, and we don't know what type of passer he's gonna be right now, because I think he got some wheels on him too.
Okay, and he did not run that much. Well, what I saw yesterday, and I did not see, blazing speed from him out there running. Maybe he was a little bit more, cautious, or did not have to, put the jets on yesterday. But I did not see, that type of quarterback, I should say. Not saying that he can't get out there and run.
He didn't have to do nothing running.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our running back got off yesterday.
Yeah, and let's talk about it. Let's talk a little bit about that. We definitely had a pretty decent running game. Do you think the head coach made great calls, offensively yesterday, Q Dog?
Without a doubt. Yes, sir.
Because like I told you guys, this is just the first game of the year. We just played New Mexico State.
Right.
It's wait till we, get off into Big Ten play. Things will definitely be a little bit more tight as far as defense. And then teams now will be able to go out and scout him now. After this first game, so I guarantee you, we'll see a lot more aggressive defensive coming at him next week. Now meaning that they have a little bit more scouting tape on him. So how do you think? And who do we got next week coming in, Q?
Oklahoma.
Okay, see, and that's going to be a great game. So now they have a little bit more scouting on him, so they'll be able to take, this week's game and be able to scout him and be able to come in and do a little bit more, have a better scouting, recruiting on him next week. So give me your thoughts on that game.
I'm gonna say this: boxing just tripped out that we talking about football and boxing, because they kind of go with each other. Because in boxing, you only good as your last performance, and you better when you fight somebody that's on your level,
Right.
so to say. So with Michigan, they were supposed to beat New Mexico. So I think
Right.
the better the competition, the better they gonna be. Same with boxing.
Yeah, no, and I agree. But it's a difference too with the two different defenses. With Oklahoma, you said that's Oklahoma who we got next week, right, Q?
That's right.
And that's going to be where in Oklahoma or Michigan.
We got to go to Oklahoma.
Yeah, see, and that's going to be tough, man. We're going to be on the road. That crowd is going to be loud. This is going to be a test for Bryce. This will let us know what type of quarterback we have. If he go out there and have a great performance next week, then we'll probably be able to expect a great season. From Bryce Underwood. You know what I mean, Q?
Yes, sir.
Because that's definitely going to be a test. But yeah, man, overall, I have no complaints. Michigan looked good on both ends of the field, offensively and defensively. It's a few things that they definitely going to have to go in and work in. This upcoming week, on defense, and a few things offensively too. You know what I mean? To get them ready for this upcoming game at Oklahoma. You know what I mean? But this will definitely be a test for them. This will let us know, how the rest of I believe how the rest of the season will go after this Oklahoma game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oklahoma game really don't mean that long. We beat everybody in the Big Ten. We good.
No, I get it, but it's definitely going to be a good test for our offense to see how good our offensive really can be, because Oklahoma is going to come in with a pretty good, well-tested defense. You know what I mean? So, and this will be a good test for our offense. Yep. So, I just want to come in and talk about Michigan's W yesterday. It was a great win for us. A great win for our true freshman quarterback. What a way to come in and and get your career started with a W. You know what I mean? So he got a lot of heat off his back coming in yesterday. Because we paid a lot of money to bring this guy in. And they want to see W's right off the back. So he was able to get that W. So I know he got that was that monkey off his back. So I think next week he'll be a lot more relaxed. So I don't have anything else to add about that, you guys. If you guys do, you can go ahead and add. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. Yep, I'm hearing a lot of background from one of you guys, but yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting fight between Crawford and Canelo. I can't wait. We're 2 weeks away. And before we close out, Big Ken, let us know. Give us give us your who you picking to win for that fight one more time before we close out.
I got Bud winning all the way. You said 8. I'm gonna give it 9-10. I think that Canelo, this is gonna be the fight right here. I think both of these boys got something to prove, and I'm riding with who I've been riding with for the longest. I think Bud is gonna do what he got to do in there. I hope he stop him. I'm looking at.
No, I did ask you this question, Hen. Do you think Bud will have a better fighting him left-handed or fighting right-handed? What do you think? What style do you think a better give Canelo? A better shot at him winning the fight, lefty or righty, I should say.
See, that's the beauty of being Terrence Crawford.
Yeah,
he can switch in on you.
Right.
So I think that's all about arithmetic. You get in there and you whatever side working for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I think he'll start off fighting his original fight, which is right hand, and then he'll switch off, in the later rounds to try and confuse Canelo, with that softball style. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, I just want to see a great up, straight up fight. I want to see somebody go down. You know what I mean? We saw a lot of 12 rounders from Canelo his last few fights. Go ahead, Big E.
Everybody thinking that Canelo gonna knock Bud out anyway, but I think we about to see the exact opposite. Because if you can remember, they said the same thing about Earl Spence. You know that, right?
No, they did.
Like,
and he made me a believer.
So other than Other than the size difference, it's not gonna be no difference.
Right.
I think Bud gonna go in there and handle it. He gonna look for the shot that he looking for. He always looking for the ear shot and the equilibrium shot. So that's what Bud a smart fighter. He ain't, he looking for the shots to get you up out of there.
Now, do you really think it's going to be a big size difference, Big Ken? Do you think Canelo is going to come in, looking that much bigger and stronger than Bud?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I think at 168, he might come in there at about 175 because ain't no rehydration clause. So I'm thinking he gonna come in at 175. He want to have somewhat of an advantage.
Well, he may come in after the weigh-in at 175, but he got to come in at least 168. Yeah.
Yeah, he got to weigh in at 168, but after that they got days, so
Right.
they're gonna put on. Canelo probably gonna put on a good 10 pounds. I think
Yeah.
Bud gonna come in there smart. He gonna come in at 168.
I think Bud gonna come in there at 68, and he may put on a few. I think he's gonna try to keep himself as much in shape and up under, around that 68. I don't think he want to come in there too heavy,
No.
and too sluggish. You know what I mean? I think he want to be able to keep
To me,
his
he might
quickness.
come in there at 166, 165.
Yeah, he may. You know what I mean? And that'll keep him definitely in tip top.
Don't think that he ain't gonna come in there smaller because it's still bigger for him.
Right.
Even if he come in at 165, he good.
Yeah, because that will give him probably the advantage on being the more quicker fighter.
So I'm gonna say he's gonna come in at a smaller weight than what everybody else thinking, because at 168, he might be a little bit too uncomfortable at that. I think Terrence might come in about 165, 166.
Yeah, and I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
So he's gonna come in about 163.
Okay, you still there, Q? I thought you had left.
That makes sense too.
Yeah, I think it's probably best for him to come in as light as he can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so look, Q, give us your last words on this Canelo Crawford fight, and let everybody know what you got going on and where they can reach you.
Well, I believe Crawford gonna pull it out. About 9th, 10th round, something like that. Man, it's gonna be one hell of a fight, man. Ain't gonna be a lot of running. It's gonna be a lot of countering. I think he'll go toe to toe with Canelo though. I really think he's just gonna go shot for shot with that motherfucker.
Wow, that's saying a lot, Q. So you think he's gonna go to toe starting off or in the later rounds?
It's probably later rounds. I think he's gonna stand there with him.
Okay.
I think he's gonna pick him, I think he's gonna do what that last guy did for the first 2 rounds. Pop, 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 get out of there, pop, 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 get out of there. And then later on in the fight, he's gonna be going toe to toe with him. And catching him with that little short shit he like to throw. He throw that little mean short little hook or whatever. Oh,
right. That shit he was catching Earl with. And I'm gonna ask you that same question too, Big Ken. Give us your last words and let everybody know where they can reach you.
Okay. My last thoughts on it is Crawford gonna annihilate this boy. I said 9-10, but you might have something to 8. He might get him up out of there earlier than that, because if I'm going off of what I seen from Canelo from the last black fighter that he fought, he has no foot movement. They talk about Terrence foot movement. Canelo has no foot movement, and I think the Bud is just gonna counter him all night until he gets the right counter shut off and catch Canelo for the knockdown. Maybe not the knockout, but the knockdown. I'm looking for it. I'm still setting up the rabbit hole. You guys will be hearing from me soon. Soon to be I will be posting that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give my last thoughts on the fight. I'm picking Crawford. He made me a true believer when he stopped my man Earl Spence. I'm still trying to get my money back, from the people that I lost that money back from. But I will not be betting against him in this Canelo fight. I think it's going to, like Big Ken said, I think it's kind of going to be the same type of fight that Earl Spence and Crawford fight was like. I think Canelo will come out and try to be, the more of the aggressive, and Bud will take that aggressiveness that Canelo is going to bring, and turn it into a counter fight, and hit Canelo with a lot of shots that, I'm just going to be honest, that he really has not been hit with within his last probably 5-6 fights. You know what I mean? But don't get it twisted. Canelo still can turn on, that button and still, make it happen. I think it'll be a great fight, a evenly matched fight, but I think, and Earl's, and let's not get it wrong, Bud is the elder of the two fighters, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, right?
He is.
Yeah, so,
35, Bud 37.
right. So it'll definitely be a great evenly matched fight. You can't say that, Canelo is the older fighter because he's not, so Bud is the older fighter, but, I believe Canelo may have more fights, overall, as a fighter from amateur, to pro. But at the end of the day, I just want to see an evenly matched fight, which I think we'll get that, and I think we'll see some knockdowns maybe on both sides. At the end of the day, it's going to be a great fight. Both camps brought in great fighters, and this won't be the last time we'll talk about the fight. Before the fight, I just want to come in today and chop it up with you guys, and I want to thank you guys for taking the time out to do this show. But like I said, it's going to be a good fight, and I just want to see a good fight overall. I don't have anything else to add. It's your boy Dame D, and I am out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.